Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Across from me is...
My name is Derek Brown.
Happy to have you. I've been meaning to have you on for a while, and then I am sometimes bad at communicating, so I'm glad we got this to happen.
And I'm bad too, so.
So what do you do?
Professionally?
You can answer that however you want.
Professionally, for money, I am in the band The Flaming Lips. I'm the band's tour manager as well. I work in the building we're sitting in, ACM at UCO. Mm-hmm. My title here is I'm the Business Development Center Manager. What does that mean? I help. The quickest, easiest way I explain it to people is my job is to connect students from being students here at the school to being people in the world as, music professionals.
Yeah.
So, I'm a husband, father of 3, and
long walks on the beach.
I'm a Leo. Yeah.
What do you play in The Flaming Lips? And what do you play in general?
Piano, keyboards, live. I play a lot of acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and keyboards with The Flaming Lips.
Which of these things do you consider to be your primary instrument?
Piano. That's the one I started on, and the one I probably had the most hours logging in,
Sure.
It's the one I feel the most at home.
Yeah. When did you start making music?
Well, I did something weird as a little kid that I would love someone. I'd love like a therapist to analyze, but I would come up with fake bands.
Okay.
And I maybe had like 2 or 3, and I would name them. I'd come up with a fake discography, fake song titles, fake song lengths. So when you say making music, I probably did that first. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I started playing piano at age 7. Probably started writing my first songs. Let's see, I started playing guitar when I was 10, probably soon after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guitar is kind of the songwriter tool, really.
I prefer the piano, honestly, but in the context of the 90s, when, bands like Nirvana were huge, and playing power chords on a guitar, you could come up with 3 power chords and say, oh, I wrote a song.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whenever you started at that age, were you playing like stuff you wanted to, or was it kind of just like piano lessons proper as?
No, it took me a long time with piano to figure out how to make fun of it,
Sure.
How to make it into something like that was fulfilling.
Yeah.
Guitar, immediately, I just dove right in, because there were, my dad played guitar. There were tab books around the house. So I figured out how to read tab, and they're like, oh, I can play, all the songs that, so that was easy. Piano was harder. It took a long time. It took probably to discover how much I really love piano. It probably took 8 or 9 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you start writing about? What did you want to start writing about?
I've never considered myself like a lyricist, a good lyricist.
Sure.
For me, it's really about moods and chords and melodies, and I've written plenty of lyrics and things, and as a teenager, your mind is so fried from being a teenager and just all the hormones and weird feelings going on. You just write about these super melodramatic things. So that's what came out then. You know, in my 20s, I'm 37 now. I tried to get a little more intellectual, and sometimes it worked. But I really, the good thing about being me now is I know my strengths and weaknesses.
Sure.
And you kind of embrace those things at this point. And so I'm fine not really being a strong lyricist. It's not like I feel like I have these things to get out as far as that goes. Mm-hmm. I love studying chord progressions and trying new things and tonal harmony and all that fun stuff. Yeah. But I'm a huge appreciator of amazing lyricist.
Yeah.
Am I one? No.
Who were you listening to whenever you first started making music, and then who are some of your biggest influences now?
Well, when I was just a little kid, I think, you know, it's probably the case for everybody. You're just listening to what your parents are listening to.
Yeah.
So like some of the first concerts I ever went to in 1989, 90 were Whitesnake, Aerosmith, you know, things like that. And so there was a certain there's like a virtuosity to a lot of that music.
Yeah.
You know, like Steve Vai was a guy that my parents both were into, right? So playing guitar, I was playing things by people like Eric Johnson, Steve Vai, Jason Becker, these super technical things.
Yeah.
Then about 13 or 14 years old, I started discovering things like The Cure, you know, and going, oh, this is resonating with me now. So through my teenage years, it was stuff like Smashing Pumpkins, The Cure, The Smiths. These days, it's just wonderful. I was talking to a friend about this. It's just wonderful to have access to almost everything.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to explain to him in the 90s how I imagined for maybe a solid year what Joy Division's Closer record sounded like. Because I couldn't find it in a store. You couldn't stream it on the internet. I saw the cover. I knew the story behind the record, but I didn't know what it sounded like. You could read reviews about it.
Sure.
So, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. So my point being, I try so much, you know, if someone mentions a name in passing, I'll go listen to it.
Yeah. Do you think that because there's so much access to everything that there's less of a chance to kind of be like a big fan?
No, I'm still a huge fan of certain artists. I would say my longest running artist for this century is the Mountain Goats. I first heard them in 2002, and their music has been, you know, a constant companion ever since. I just started getting into Ween, of all things. I've known of Ween forever.
Sure.
But I just recently got it.
Yeah.
And so there's so much Ween music. You know, it's just like I go through the Grateful Dead earlier this year. I just immersed myself in the Grateful Dead.
That is one that I've been meaning to get to.
Yeah. So I think because I get obsessed with things and I become huge fans of things. It's just easier than it's ever. It's, you know, I can stream probably thousands of full live sets from the Dead online.
Yeah.
That's amazing, you know?
So how did you get to sort of the kind of more management, booking, touring sort of thing?
I guess maybe in high school. Actually, I remember exactly. OCU, Oklahoma City University, had a degree at the time that I believe was called an entertainment business degree. And once I saw the courses in the catalog, they were things about like artist management, publishing, booking agent.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I never stopped through that period. I never stopped being in a band, playing music, writing songs, stuff like that. But I had to be involved in the business somehow.
Yeah.
And that was the logical next step out of high school to still continue on that path. I still took piano lessons in college and things like that, but and I was super interested in it. The more I learned about it, so there's some aspects of it that I just do not like at all. I don't like anything that takes that. I don't know, that looks at it, that approaches music in a too sterile, business-like kind of way. I still, above all, the actual art and the actual music, to me, is like the supreme being. But I became the Lips tour manager about 2 years ago when our longtime tour manager retired, and I think in a way, doing that, touring is really hard for me for a lot of reasons. And I think becoming the tour manager was kind of just the way for me to still do it and stay sane.
Sure.
Because it kind of takes something that's really chaotic and gives you more control over it. But I've done ever since, I graduated high school in 1999. I started that degree in the fall of 99. So we're coming up on 20 years of being involved in the business in some way or another. I don't think I don't consider myself like so artistic that I can't do spreadsheets and book hotels and things like that.
Right.
There's a very practical.
Yeah.
More of my brain is wired like that, I think, than just being a music guy.
Yeah. How does someone make money doing music nowadays?
Well, in Oklahoma, there are churches, and there are a lot of them. And the month I turned 16, I got a job playing piano at a Catholic church, and I had that job for about 13 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that enabled me to have enough money to do the things that I needed to pay for and to have fun and not take up so much of my time so away from doing the actual music. So ever since then, I've tried I would say 95, if not more, because I had a couple like waiter jobs, but they didn't last very long. For the most part, everything I've done since then, as far as making money, has been in music somehow. You have to be willing to try anything, I think. And you just have to be open to, you can't get this pie in the sky scenario in your head. Like it's got to be like this. I went out on the road when I was 19, 20, selling merch for bands for free. Yeah. And my mom at the time was like, why are they not paying you? I'm like, look, I get to go to New York, Boston. I get in a van. I get to go see the country, be around people I like. And I don't need to get paid. Like, this is a, you just have to put yourself out there and try things and not be afraid and not have an ego that says, oh, I'm above that. That's kind of the death of you eventually you're going to find something that really resonates with you, but and it might be things that you never thought would,
Yeah.
you know. So I would say, how do you make money doing music? Do what you love. Try things you don't think you are going to like. Put yourself out there, you know.
And then I'm glad this is a separate question.
Yeah.
What factors contribute to success as an artist? Because success and making money are very separate things.
I think it's just up to that person. I mean, my definition of success is different than, you know, even some of my bandmates in the Lips. So for me, I've never been comfortable being in positions where I feel like I'm where I feel like my personal beliefs or my ethics or whatever are being challenged. You know, I don't. There are a lot of really dishonest, predatory people in the business, and I would see their behaviors and see the way they operate and just get that sinking feeling.
Yeah.
So success for me has been being able to do this and stay within my realm of values, you know?
Yeah. What's a musical hurdle that you've gotten over in the past, and what's something that you're still working on?
Musical hurdle.
Like a skill or something that.
Well, the one thing that I hope to do at some point is learn how to play the pedal steel guitar very well. That's a long-term goal that I haven't worked on, but it's in the back of my head. Like, I'm going to do that someday.
Yeah.
I think in my early 20s, and I see this with a lot of students here at the school, they get really focused on the side of the business that doesn't involve being good at your instrument or your craft, as in like social media and the branding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And all that's really important. But I fell into that too. And I think just kind of recently I've renewed this sense in my head that you have to be really good at what your craft is.
Yeah.
You know? And hopefully the other things fall into place. Just don't put too much, you can't put too much focus on, you know, it's like, have you seen the Firefest documentary?
Yeah. Both of them, actually.
Yeah. So watching that kind of reinforced it in my head, because what was that guy good at? He was good at like branding and marketing.
Yeah.
He couldn't pull off the actual nuts and bolts of doing the festival, right?
Sure.
So what if you're a band and your pictures look cool and everyone loves you because you're really popular and, you know, but
or you look like you're
you
really
look
popular.
like you're, but you kind of suck once you get up there and you can't play the part and your band falls apart and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just this kind of renewed feeling that I have to be really good at what I do.
Yeah.
Or the best I can push it. And I definitely lost sight of that at one point.
I guess what's something that you consistently see as the business development manager that you think, what's something that you would say to help people in that role that you're taking as the manager of that like, hey, you're coming to me and you want a job in the industry. This is what I always say to people.
I kind of said it earlier. I say, put yourself out there, be diverse, and be open to trying all sorts of things. I can talk one-on-one with people for a long time and tell them my experiences. I never feel comfortable saying this is the right answer.
Sure.
And in fact, I do not. I'm really turned off when people are like that. Like, here's it the way it is, and you have to. If you want to be successful in this industry, you have to be like. I'm like, no. It's like, it's just there's so many different ways. So I can only tell my story and my experience, and hopefully that resonates with someone. Yeah, it seems kind of funny, the job I'm in, and me saying this, but yeah, I don't feel like I have all the answers, you know? And that's kind of liberating.
Yeah, no, I always really like hearing that. In the amount of time that I always ask people for answers, I always really enjoy that.
I don't think really any of us really do.
Right. What's something that you've gotten to work on that you're really, really proud of over the years? Or even just recently?
Well, I was here at the beginning when the school started, and to see where it's at today is pretty amazing. Right now, just getting the Flaming Lips on tour. We're going to start back up next month. We're talking in June. July, we'll start doing a bunch of shows again. So, on that first show date, seeing 2 semis, 2 buses, all these people, all this stuff coming together, that should feel good. I'll let you know if it doesn't.
Yeah.
But looking forward, I'm imagining that'll all feel pretty good because it'll be the culmination of months and months of preparation and work and stuff. So that's always a good feeling. There's a lot of Flaming Lips music that I've had a small hand in, that seeing it come out, like this King's Mouth record. I have a few songs that I have co-writes on. So seeing how Wayne and Steven took those musical ideas and formed them, and hearing it on vinyl, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to mention the fact that you guys were nominated for a Tony Award on the.
That was, that was basically one afternoon it's been 6 years. It was the summer of 2013. And the story at the time was SpongeBob is doing a musical. They've asked us to contribute a song. So at Pink Floor, Wayne's studio here in Oklahoma City, we recorded a song live with the band that I believe Steven wrote the chord progression for. It was just the chord progression running through the, the verse, the chorus, the middle, whatever. So we tracked it, and then Wayne did this funny thing where he said, everyone go try a vocal melody one at a time. So you go out there, and Steven did it first, and then a couple other people, and then I had my turn, and then a couple people after me. And so it was just on the fly trying a vocal melody.
Yeah.
And they decided Derek's is the one we're going to go with. So then 5 years later, to be attending the Tonys because it was nominated What was the nomination? Best.
There was a few of them. I was kind of just looking it up, but like, I think
Yeah.
just best musical was.
Yeah. They were nominated for 12. It only ended up winning one, but just that was a pretty magical day and evening. But yeah, it's so funny because, and I know Wayne and Steven must feel this way about everything they've done, where you as a person, you've done so much creating over your life.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's just one little thing that took an hour that you get all this recognition for. And you're
Yeah.
like, it feels like you're getting recognized for the whole thing.
Sure.
But when you really know the story, you're like, it's just this one vocal melody.
Sure.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And I mean, that is kind of something that I've seen happen a lot with different artists, is that there's like, you have a whole bunch of stuff that you put your heart and soul into, and then like this one thing sticks out. You're like, oh, I just kind of cranked this one out in like 10 minutes.
Totally,
and it's
yeah.
like, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that one. That's the one that I like. I'm like, dang it.
It's like Black Sabbath, Paranoid. The song, it's like they just, the record was done or whatever. You hear those stories all the time, and then it becomes one of their most well-known songs, and they thought it was, just this,
Afterthought.
The afterthought, yeah. Not that any of that was an afterthought. It's just funny, the things that rise to the top.
Yeah. Kind of more broader philosophical questions about music. Is there such a thing as bad music to you?
Well, yes. If we're talking about personal taste.
Sure.
If you want to go beyond that, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, some of the things I love, I would imagine most everyone I know would think that's bad music. But it really connects with me. And so, no, I know that's kind of a
No, yeah.
cop-out answer or whatever, but no, I don't think there's a thing as bad music.
What is it that you...
Because who's judging?
Yeah. What is it that you listen to that is bad music that you really enjoy?
Like feedback drones, and maybe super lo-fi, noisy things that wouldn't typically resemble what someone would consider a song.
Sure.
That they connect with me, and they bring up a feeling in me that excites me. But most people would hear it and go, "That's bad music."
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as selling out, or what is selling out?
Well, I just listened to Scott answer that last night, Scott Booker.
Sure.
And it kind of goes back to, for me, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about doing something that compromises your values.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're pro-choice and you're giving your music to a pro-life campaign for a bunch of money.
Yeah.
If we're getting really serious we're talking about life and death, and then, but you can benefit the other side by making a bunch of money. I guess that's what I would consider selling out. Mm-hmm. That's just me. It's kind of it goes back to your question about bad music. It's all it's all it's going to be, you have to look at that specific situation and those people. What I do notice about people like your age, the concept of selling out, they don't really have much awareness of that, at least the way I did when I was your age.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s, that sellout phrase was used a lot. and bands would get ridicule for doing something that their fans considered them to sell out.
Sure.
I don't think that really happens so much anymore,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also like a perspective that it's so hard to do music nowadays.
Yeah, and
that like
I didn't finish my thought, but Scott was talking about if the Flaming Lips being on Beverly Hills 90210 or whatever it was helps other people hear the music because they're not getting played on MTV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about 1995 here. But then, no, it's not selling out because you're just trying to reach your audience, your potential audience. So, yeah, I don't even really think in those terms of like, is this us selling out? I might think, is this us being lame? You know?
Sure.
Is this a bad idea? But selling out, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you separate art from the artist?
I do. Yes, I have to. I like Morrissey, and you know, you know, that's someone that is getting in all these, getting all this flack for his affiliation with like a right wing political group. Yeah, I do. For me, the music stands as it's on its own. Mm-hmm. If I felt like I had to like or agree with the artist's beliefs, that would really change the music I listen to. Mm-hmm. Music to me is that piece of music.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me who wrote it, who played on it, who produced it. Doesn't matter. The song is the kind of the holy, you know, the sacred object. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then kind of moving towards the spirituality thing. What is the role of spirituality or religion in your life?
Well, there's not a huge role. I mean, spirituality for me is more just my personal beliefs and ethics. It doesn't honestly play if we're talking about like traditional Christianity or religious affiliation. No, it doesn't. I mean, the thing about working that job at the Catholic Church for 13 years, you hear a lot of readings from the New Testament and the Gospels. And for me, the Bible is just a really amazing piece of literature. It's not just that, but hearing those readings so often, because with the Catholic Mass, you're not getting, it's not an hour of songs and then a sermon. You're getting these prayers that are recited at every Mass and these readings that are coming verbatim from Old, New Testament and the Gospel. Hearing those things curated in such a way that they pull a reading from the Old Testament, then here comes one from the New, and then finally a Gospel. And those are selected in a way that there's a common thread. There's meant to be a common thread. And then they're also, you know, they're choosing, it's basically like a Bible mixtape, you know? So those would really resonate with me sometimes, are just a turn of phrase. I wrote down things constantly during Mass because I'd hear something. I'd be like, that's an amazing way to put that.
Sure.
The question was, how does spirituality
Yeah, what is the role of spirituality in your life?
I think all the Catholic Mass I went to as a young person just kind of laid a bed for the way I approach life now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's there.
Yeah. What is your definition of God?
It's very abstract, I guess. I don't know. You know, it's back to what I was saying. None of us have the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a higher being. I mean, obviously, for me, there is a higher being that put all this stuff together in a way that makes sense, to make our bodies work in a certain way, our brains work. That's pretty amazing. I don't think it's just an accident. God, for me, is this constantly present authority figure in my head, just keeping tabs on me. And when I get too far off from the path I want to be on, I'm meant to be on, I feel like I'm supposed to be on, then maybe that is God telling me, work on that, work on changing that. I live out in the country, and the lips are not touring right now, so this is the first kind of extended amount of time I can think of in maybe 10 years that I've just been home, not constantly thinking about, or not constantly having my routine interrupted by flying somewhere. And so I've been very in tune to the changing of the season.
Yeah.
Which is something I just hadn't thought of, but seeing the trees bloom at a certain time, and then the stages of that, for a few days they're this one color, and then it's another color, and then all of a sudden here come the ants, and then here come the worms and the bushes, and it's been pretty incredible to watch that every day and not be interrupted, because I think at my age, at my particular point of awareness, I'm more aware of what's around me than I've ever been. So if anything, seeing all this and taking all this in has reinforced the idea that yes, there is a God. Don't know what it is, but yeah, something is overseeing this. Someone's supervising.
That's the kind of answer I love hearing.
Cool.
Is free will an illusion? I should find a way of phrasing that question that isn't a yes or no answer. But
is free will an illusion? Man, you go deep here on bit depth. I don't think so. I hope not. I think if it's not, we shouldn't be told, because that would really bum us out. I think if we don't have control over our decisions, at least let us think we do.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I think for me personally, that's a deal breaker. If I can't make some decisions here and there, then I don't want to be a part of this. So I would say I hope not.
Sure. How do you determine what good behavior is?
Gosh. I can only speak for myself. Good behavior. And my kids, I guess,
Sure.
because that's where I'm applying that logic the most lately.
Yeah.
Don't physically or emotionally harm other people, and take care of yourself. I would have to say, if we're going to break it down, that's good behavior.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
How do we reduce the division that has permeated our culture at least a bit more lately, but has kind of always been?
I think people should only be. I think people should be not be able to post something online that they can't say to someone's face. There's so many relatives of mine that, after seeing the things they post on Facebook about politics and religion and abortion and stuff, that it's really hard to look them in the eye the same way at Easter lunch, you know, because you just can't believe that they really feel that way. Now, I would never know they felt this way if it wasn't for Facebook memes and stuff like that. So that kind of bums me out that basically social media has given us this platform to just be shit talkers. Can we cuss on BitDex?
Yeah.
And because these aren't the conversations and the things that come up in just real life for the most part. So to bridge the divide, I just wish we'd get off the internet a little bit and at least just talk more face to face and less this culture of causing of whistleblowing online. For example, someone I know posted something on Twitter about a music festival here locally and how they were getting bad treatment from this festival. And I interpreted the tweet as, I'm going to start some shit. Watch out. Because for some reason, that's this thing we have that, and I've been guilty of it too, of watch out because I'm about to drop a bomb. And people are going to get all excited and bent out of shape over this. And then I see the reply from the guy at the festival. And he's like, keep in mind, this guy is a volunteer. He's worked really hard towards this effort. He's passionate about what he's doing. He wants it to be good. At least that's what I'm projecting. And he's apologizing. And this is all public, you know. He said, you misunderstood what happened. Why did that person that wrote the tweet not go to them originally in private and work out this thing? Why does it have to be in the public eye and all these people get their emotions, riled up? It's just too much is becoming, our emotions on exhibit, and me personally, as like in my personal growth, that's been something I've tried to work on a lot in the last year or two, not just vomiting my whims and
Sure.
impulses online, because that doesn't really exist in the same way online as it does in real life. Work on it in real life.
Yeah.
It's a very long-winded answer.
Sure. No, I like that. Just talk to each other. Come on.
Yeah, and just if you're this person that is constantly talking shit, being judgmental, all that, and you're only doing it online, and then when people get in a room with you and you're quiet and you're meek, and which I'm quiet and meek, but you can't say it in real life to someone looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
You're not really preaching what you believe. It's just, I've tried to take out the most of the online presence in that way for me, and it's been really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All this is just one big experiment. On Facebook, things will pop up. Like, remember when you posted this 10 years ago? I'm like, oh my God, I used to think of Facebook
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also like, wow. So, you get these platforms and you just try them out and you're like, oh, I'll post this kind of stuff. I'll do this. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of, we're just figuring out as we go. Mm-hmm. And it's probably there forever in some capacity. So you just have to, I feel like we have to be a little bit more cognizant of actually living a life and not just having this thing that lives online that you think is your life.
Sure. What makes you optimistic about our future?
It's kind of a corny answer, but probably my kids.
I don't see a reason why that needs to be a corny answer. That's just true.
Yeah. Just seeing how innocent and like excited they are about the simple things in life. They're ages 6, 4, and 2, so it's a range of personality, traits, and sometimes they'll say something about their observations that give me joy and optimism. Like, hey, maybe they'll help figure this out down the road. All these problems that we have as a country and a planet and all that. That if we can be good role models and good teachers, that hopefully they'll undo some of the stupid things we've done.
Sure.
Yeah.
What makes you happy?
Reading, listening to music, being with my family, chocolate. Went on a nature trail the other day with my family. That made me really happy. Very simple things.
Yeah.
Yeah. At my point in life, I've figured out all the things that make me really happy and the things that don't. So I'm good at filtering out the bad stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why music?
'Cause it's the best, I think. There's nothing else that, as far as mediums of expression, there's nothing that compares to music for me. It's the thing that has been my language since and I don't remember it, but my parents claim since I was about 2 years old, music was the thing that, soothed me and kept me interested, and none of that's changed. There's been times where I have been frustrated with life and have thought music was the enemy, but it's not. There's so much to it that it's just this constant companion through my life, For lately, my kids have been interested. They gravitate towards just a few songs that are in my iTunes library, and one of them is a song. It was the first song I ever learned how to play on guitar when I was 10, and all my kids love it, all three of them. But I was listening to it. They said, play it. I play it in the car, and all of them are singing in the back, and I'm like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That the song I learned how to play on guitar in 1992, that I busted out my mom's speakers in her Pontiac Grand Am in 1992 listening to, is the song that I'm playing for them now, that they're singing to. Can't think of any other thing besides maybe a book that has lasted, So that's a pretty amazing feeling.
What's that song?
It is by the band Def Leppard. It's called Photograph.
Nice.
It's one of the greatest songs ever.
2 more questions. What advice do you have for people, if any, in general?
Listen to your gut and stick to it. If you feel like be open to hearing other viewpoints, but don't compromise what you feel like is what you need to do, or what your beliefs are. Drink water. If you feel bad or in doubt or don't know what else to do, drink water.
Sure.
And what else? That's it.
Cool. Last question, potentially the hardest question.
Okay.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Sweet.
There's a lot more options.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can have a lot more fun with pie.
Yeah. Addendum to the last question.
Yeah.
Is cheesecake pie?
Don't think so. Yeah.
Derek, thank you for doing this with me. Plug your stuff. What do you got going on?
What's that?
Plug your stuff. What do you got going on?
Plug my stuff. Flaming Lips are going on tour. We are doing shows with the Claypool Inn and Delirium. We are going to Europe. We are going to Australia. Australian tickets go on sale today.
Oh, cool.
If you're into that.
All right. This episode will be posted next Thursday.
So tickets are on sale now.
Yeah.
I'm bad at plugging my stuff.
That's fine.
It's not in my nature.
This is the one chance that you get to
to tell the masses.
Promote yourself as much as possible without any shame.
Nah.
Well, thank you for doing this with me. I'm Santiago Ramones.
I'm Derek Brown. Thank you.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music. You can download or pay for Songs with Words demo. You can also find this podcast on pretty much every place that you can find podcasts. If there's a place that you want to listen to the podcast and it's not on there, tell me. Because I think I've gotten it everywhere that I can. And leave comments and reviews and let me know how much you love Derek and how much you think I say which is a lot. And I always end my podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are love never fails. It's going to be okay. I might be wrong.